This is Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. I got a follow-up coming through. It's been a couple of years, or maybe just about, no, wait, it's been since like what? Justin, what do you think? 2016, probably, right?
Since when you first came on the program.
No,
we came on, I think it was March of 2017 for the film premiere of Don't Shoot.
So that was 17. That was last year.
17.
Wow, man, seems like a while. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back filmmaker of the movie Don't Shoot, Mr. Justin Milton, director, writer, producer, Justin Milton.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, sir. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Don't Shoot, now that you have brought my memory back, of course, I remember the film and I remember our conversation. Just couldn't remember when we had recorded that conversation. So that was back in April of 2017. And good film. The film did well?
Yes, sir. It did well. We had a lot of people come out to support the film. The film premiere was a success, good success. So we're ready to now put it out for film release on Vimeo. So you can go right now to y'all laptops, computer, or smart TVs. Go to don'tshootthemovie.com. I'm saying again, don'tshootthemovie.com, and rent or buy the film Don't Shoot. We got Omar Gooding in the film. We got Billy Sorrell's in the film. We got an overwhelming amount of Houston talent in the film, from Ian Haywood, Jessica is in the film. So just overall good talent in the film, man.
Yeah, indeed. And for those who may not know, the film is called Don't Shoot, as he said, but those may not know what the film is about. So give us a synopsis of Don't Shoot, the movie.
Okay. Don't Shoot is about a black teen that is walking home. To his dad's house, and he stopped by the some white officers, police officers, and events occur where he's shot, and the city is seeking charges on the peace officers. So the question is, will justice be served for the black community, and will the right thing occur in the court system? So you have to watch and find out.
Yeah, and you were filming this during the time when the shooting of unarmed black men was just rampant in the news.
Yes.
So just kind of talk about the inspiration behind the film. What made you want to make this movie?
Well, I was writing another film, another script, and then I kept seeing unarmed kids getting killed like every other month. So I decided doing that, and me being an ex-cop, ex-peace officer, it touched a chord with me. How these cops are getting off from killing these officers, because we were taught in the police academy, if you shoot or kill a unarmed person, you will go to jail. But these things are not happening with these cases. So they inspired me to write. They inspired me to give a story. Me being a black male, I wrote a story that kind of you see a side from the cop side,
from both sides.
Yeah, from both sides, and you see from the black kid side. So this is a story about justice. It's a story about injustice, about a story about what should and could happen in the court system. So justice is not always served within the courts, as we know, but I'm here to right the wrong.
Indeed. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm talking to director, writer, producer, screenplay, whatever, ex-officer, Justin Milton. His film Don't Shoot will be released on Vimeo. It came out last year. So we want to, it's some incredible Houston talent in this film. To go back to you being on both sides of it, and you just mentioned that in the police academy that they taught you that if you do shoot an unarmed person, that you will be charged, you will go to jail. Clearly, within the last 4 years, we have not seen that happen in really any of the cases. I think maybe one where the officer was charged, and I don't even know if it was criminal. I think it might have been like a civil case. But my question is, why do you think that is not happening when these officers shoot unarmed black people and they just get a slap on the wrist and get paid leave?
Well, mostly because the courts don't want to imprison one of their officers, for one, and two, mostly because they're white. That's the elephant in the room. They don't want to prosecute these officers. They don't want to do the right thing, so they may lay them off. They may put them on a desk. They purposely extend the trial so you kind of forget about the trial till a year or two later. So but they don't want to prosecute their own. So if you do that, you'll peel back the scab and have a lot of officers being looked at, and they don't want officers or really the law being looked at critically. They just want to have a little tap on the wrist and keep going. But us as African Americans, we know we can't do that. Mm-hmm. We can't do anything like that. We can't kill an unarmed white kid in the Sugar Land and think that you're gonna get away with it. Mm-hmm. It's gonna happen. You can't go to Katy, you can't go to the Woodlands and kill a all-American white girl and say she was, she threatened me. I felt unfair in my life. Can't do that. We know that. But other people feel like they can do it and get away with it.
Yeah, and it's proven to be right in some cases. We got to get back to blind justice, and I pray that a new day is coming up. You listen to Access Houston, talking to Justin Milton, the writer and director of the film Don't Shoot, available now on Vimeo. The release happened. When people watch this film, what is your hope that they take away from it?
I hope they take away an injustice. A unarmed kid was shot for no reason. He was stopped illegally, which happens all the time in Houston and around the world, and events occurred where he was shot. And that was also unworthy. So I purposely showed the film where that kid could have been you. That kid could have been your son, your daughter, or somebody that they can relate to. Mm-hmm. Somebody, and this kid was a very positive influence on others. Very, very positive kid. Very, very. Was going to college bound kid, going to college, had straight A's. Mm-hmm. And, we, in the Black community, we champion those kids that, that's going to make it out the hood. We push those guys. We praise those kids. So, when one of them gets shot and for no reason, like a dog on the street, we got to speak out against that. So my goal is for you to see African Americans and people of color not as less than human. That's my goal. So that kid that was shot could have been your kid's best friend or your son's child. If their son has a child of color. So that's my goal, and see what should happen in the court systems. So we don't really see what happened. We don't really see the positive outcome in courts usually. So I tried to steer towards that in this film, but we'll see if it happens. Because I wanted to, I want this film to be very, very real. You know, so, you know, me being a screenwriter and me knowing the law, so this film is very, very realistic, very, very powerful. One of the reasons that Omar Gooding took the role in this film because he loved the message, loved the story. So I've been getting a lot of feedback, a lot of positive feedback from others, and I know that I touched a nerve because it was very hard for me to make this film. A lot of courtrooms did not want me to shoot this film, so they said yes at first, then turned around and said no when they found out what
the content was in it.
So we had to maneuver around that. You know, so I touched some nerves in this film. That's good. You know, we want to.
Well, that's good. Change ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
You know, it's gonna make some people uncomfortable. How and where can people see and get the film?
You can go to don'tshootthemovie.com and or vimeo.com. So when you go to don'tshootthemovie.com, click on the Don't Shoot link, and you'll be able to buy or rent the movie. I'm pushing towards buy, so you can have it every day for years to come. And if you want a DVD, you can just message me saying you want a DVD, and then we'll go from there.
Then all your social media?
Social media, the link will also be Don't Shoot the Movie on Facebook, Don't Shoot the Movie on Twitter, Instagram. You can reach me.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to be able to thank my cast and crew in this film, starting with Alex West, Bryce Miller, Chantel Fano, Jay Alexandra, Tanya Palmer, Jaylene Mack, my lawyer. Hey, if you are a filmmaker, you need to go see Jaylene Mack. She's an entertainment lawyer, and she's great. Go see her today. Also, want to say thank you to my brother Justin Milton, because together we are the Milton Brothers, and we do a lot of films here in Houston. By the way, he has a film coming out on the 13th, February 13th, The Do's and Don'ts of Dating, film premiere at the River Oaks Theater. Do's and Don'ts of Dating, February 13th, River Oaks Theater. Go see it. Get your tickets. It's on social media too, Facebook, Instagram. You can find it. One more note. Thank you, Kasim Barnes. He's my right-hand man, my AD, my producer. I couldn't do this film without him.
Indeed. Producer, director, screenwriter, Justin Milton of Don't Shoot the Movie. Available now on Vimeo and at don'tshootthemovie.com, bro. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcoming from the Houston Arts Alliance, the CEO, John. I just had it and I just lost it.
Abodeely.
Abodeely.
That's right.
Good morning, sir. And the lovely Deidre Thomas, who is the Grants and Capacities Building Coordinator for the Houston Arts Alliance. Good morning to you as well.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the program. I have not heard of the Houston Art Alliance, so tell us about the organization.
Sure. Thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here. Happy Sunday morning, everybody. So the Houston Arts Alliance, fundamentally, our job is to support artists and small and mid-sized arts organizations throughout Houston in the best way we possibly can. Mm-hmm. We do that in a couple ways. We build civic art projects around the city on behalf of the city of Houston, mm-hmm. and we give away grants to arts organizations and artists, again, on behalf of the city through a tax, actually, on hotel rooms.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And how long have you guys been doing this?
So the organization's been in existence for a good 10 years,
Okay.
and I've been there for 3.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been running these grant programs for several years now, so we've got some nice kind of work under our belt.
So you all are in diving into empowering kids through the organization. So talk about how arts and creativity, empower children and, especially in underserved communities, here in Houston.
Yeah. Well, I've done some work in my past in arts education, particularly in schools where kids are less likely to get it. Schools that have a little less money than some of their other schools, and we've seen some pretty remarkable work done on behalf of those kids. There's just something about the arts that's very special. It's a way that kids can both learn things that are good skills to have in life, but also learn about themselves and learn to believe in themselves. And that's something that's hard to get in other ways. The arts are really good at that.
And getting lost. I mean, for a couple of decades now, it's safe to say that for whatever reason, they have been slowly taking the arts out of school curriculum. I mean, even when you go back as far as the early 2000s with the VH1 Save the Music campaign, where they had, entertainers donating their time, money, instruments, and whatnot to save the music.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a bit of a battle. Like our schools are asked to do so much, they educate our kids, they help with the obesity crisis, they help with, a democratic society. Our schools are asked to do a lot. And so it takes a lot of work to make sure that the arts sort of maintain some time in the school day, some budget, that there's a teacher there who knows what he or she is doing in the arts, et cetera. But there is a lot of good work going on in Houston related to arts education. I know our a peer organization of ours called Young Audiences is doing a lot of work with a lot of other remarkable organizations around Houston to make sure that kids have access to arts education throughout their lives, in the K-12 experience. And I know we do some work out of school time. We help some organizations provide we provide funding for some organizations to give kids time outside of school working in the arts, and that's another kind of important piece.
Oh, absolutely.
What kids can do on their own in a theater, at Alley Theater, another one, out of school time is some pretty remarkable production of their own.
Yeah, I'm all for that because there's all they're going to do is get into trouble, into other trouble if they don't have anything to do.
Right.
After school. Can you all talk about these kids and their creativity? Like now. There's so many talented kids out there, and me just scrolling through the streets of Instagram, or just going under the Explore tab and just finding things. Like kids are coming up with some pretty amazing stuff, artwork, be it from pottery to paintings to sculptures. I mean, it's the talent is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Can you talk about some of the talents that you've seen from some of these kids here in Houston?
Yeah, I mean, I think most recently I went to kind of a playwright festival, and there was with Shabak Enterprise, and we got to see different playwrights come and work with actors perform their plays. And it was amazing to see the kids kind of work with the playwrights and like take on those different roles and really kind of consume like that particular role. And they were like super talented. It was really amazing to see, and just you could tell that they really appreciated having that opportunity to act in front of an audience, and then for the playwrights to come and take them seriously and really bring them along like with their craft.
Yeah.
There's something so special about putting in that work, making something creative good, and then getting that applause. That there's something about that experience that's so unique and important.
Yeah, indeed. You're listening to Access Houston. We're talking to John and Deidre at the Houston Art Alliance. The impact of arts and that it has on a child's self-esteem. Can you talk about that and how maybe a kid who's kind of quiet, otherwise, but when they're with you all or they're creating, they just turn into a whole nother person. Can you talk about the self-esteem factor when it comes to these kids and creating?
Yeah, well, I think all of us have kind of like that story where we've had this interaction with arts as a kid, and we had that kind of like mine was choir. I sang in the choir. I'm not a good singer, but just
too. I
going
sang in
back,
the
I
choir,
think
too.
that allowed me to, show my personality being in part of the choir. So I think we see a lot of that with the kids that work with our organizations. It's like that one moment they get to interact with the arts, whether it be visual or doing some kind of performance, and it allows them to express themselves. And I think having that like ability where there's like no judgment, you're just kind of doing something and you're expressing yourself. I think everyone can kind of like relate to that and has that story as a child.
Yeah.
Mine was basically I followed a friend of mine into a theater audition in high school, and this like kooky social studies teacher that was directing the play pointed at me and was like, "Are you going to audition?" And my friend kind of pushed me on stage, and he gave me a role, and it totally changed my life.
Wow. So I have two stories kind of similar to yours, John. I was in music class one time and just acting a fool, as most
Kids do.
And I mean, but not like I wasn't like the class clown or anything. There was just a song that we would sing, and I just thought it was funny, and so I'm making up choreography in my seat, and so the music teacher's like, "Oh, okay, Mr. Green, come on down here and perform in front of the class." And so I performed the choreography that I made up. The class is laughing. Boom. Maybe a couple of weeks later, she pulls me to the side like, "I think that you should audition for the show choir." It was called awesome. Broadway Exit. And it's like, no, I'm not doing that. And so, and I wasn't going to show up. One of the football players who was actually in the show choir, played football, was a star player, and then also was in the show choir, literally dragged me into the audition,
That's
and
amazing.
made me audition, and I ended up being the dance captain of
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
of the show choir.
That's always what it takes, man. One great teacher who just says, "You've got a little talent, go run with it." It all makes a huge difference for a kid.
Yeah, and I ended up doing that for 2 years, and it was great. It was a good time. And the same thing happened in college with acting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sign up to act in this play. I saw that they were rehearsing in the student. This was the first rehearsal. I guess it was like kind of like the table read, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I just popped in just to peek my head in and say what's up and keep it moving. The guy that had signed up to play the lead part, he wasn't there yet. He was running late. And so the director had, "Hey, just read these lines until, he gets here." And then I'm reading the lines, and then I noticed that she had me with one cast member, then another, and then another. And so he shows up, and I'm like, "All right, thanks, guys. I'm about to leave." He's like, "No, Chris, this is no, you're going to do this role. But wait, I didn't even sign up to act. I want to stay and play in the background."
Yeah.
Like, "Nope, I want you here. He should have been here on time." But I didn't even sign up. But I ended up having that role, and I guess
That's
it was
fantastic.
good. I even got roses at the end, so I guess I must have acted well.
You did
so
well.
yeah, I've had situations like that where it's not even my intention to do these things, but
And then
ended
it
up
feels
being
great
in
when
them.
you do it, and you're like, "That was awesome. I want to do it again." I was hooked, man. After I did my first comedy, I remember when I got my first laugh on stage.
Yeah.
I was hooked.
You was hooked,
Totally
huh?
hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a story, Deidre?
Oh, I mean, I am not. So I'm creative.
Okay.
But, so I think I think it's different for me. I've had exposure to the arts, but I think I take that creativity and like to problem solve and take it in different ways. And so I think that's why it's like equally important, because those who may not like paint or like they're not good at singing, which I am like horrible at, they can like find art in different kind of ways that make sense for them.
Yeah.
So
Well-
if you have a problem, I can solve it creatively.
We're lucky now.
Creatively,
Now
okay.
Deidre works on behalf of the arts community, so every time somebody calls, she's the one who helps them solve a problem. Yeah.
So when you think of the arts, especially today with the addition of social media, digital taking over, what nowadays would be considered the arts? What would fall under that umbrella today?
I think that's a really good question, and one that I actually we have a open house where artists can come in and just ask questions. It's grant staff, and they just come and just talk about their work, and they come and talk about the application processes. We're like there for them specifically to answer questions. And one artist came in and she literally does art on her phone. She loves taking pictures of nature, and then she like manipulates the photos using an app. And for her, that was art. And
I bet it looks amazing. I'm
no, it
intrigued by
looked
you
really
describing
amazing.
it.
And it was like the little
Sure.
kaleidoscope thing. And so it was like really amazing talking to her, because she wouldn't necessarily have been someone that someone would have considered like a traditional artist. But what she does is just as relevant as someone who has art in like the MFA or at the CAM or wherever those things exist. So I think I think art is very like personal, but I also think it's, whoever's experienced it and being an audience, it matters to them as them thinking of it as art.
Absolutely. And we've got grant programs at HAA where artists can apply and tell us what their art form is. Because we want to be open and really try to get money out into the community, so people who are creative producers can, creatively produce. I think it's important that we sort of expand our definition of art. We've got like traditional stuff. We've got like opera and choir music and stuff on museum walls. But there's more out there going on, and I think we'll get better as a society for showing people's creativity over time. So we kind of want to open those doors at HAA.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, that's why I asked that question. It's 2018. There's so many different ways to create, and what is art?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's subjective. And I think
the
important thing is we just always are challenging ourselves to answer that question in a different way. You put a phone in a kid's hand, or this woman you're talking about, Deidre, and like all of a sudden she's an artist in a way maybe she didn't even know she was a year ago. And I think it's important that we support that.
Yeah. We're talking to the people at Houston Art Alliance. Just talk about how you all are committed to more diverse and all-inclusive of all the kids from every type of background.
Yeah. So most recently we underwent like a huge kind of revision of all of our grant programs. And it was kind of with that lens. How do we make it more accessible? How do we bring more people along on the process and be more inclusive to all art forms? And so really it's about, like what John said, is not defining what those disciplines are. You tell us what like your art form is. But then we're also doing workshops in all the neighborhoods throughout Houston, having conversations and talking one-on-one with people who believe they are, who are creative, and just having a conversation about what the possibilities are. That's what Houston Arts Alliance is there for. We're really about funding art and art creation, and really providing people the opportunity to just create.
Indeed. And where can people get more information? Follow you all. They want to sign up. They want to come through. Where can they do that?
Yeah, I think the best way is probably straight at our website, HoustonArtsAlliance.com. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter too, so definitely follow us. But HoustonArtsAlliance.com has all the information about grant opportunities. We also have a calendar of events where you can find out, what shows are going on in the neighborhood that you want to go see. Public art all over the city. If you want to stop into a park and see like a really amazing sculpture, we can tell you where to find that too.
Are you guys responsible for that? Like, do you guys have a hand in all of, like, I don't know, the what are they called? Like the electric boxes on the corners, like the energy boxes.
A little bit. Yeah, we're lucky to live in a city like this. There's so much going on that there's a lot of people making art.
Yeah.
We have a hand in a big chunk of it, but we're certainly not responsible for all of it. So the electric boxes, which are awesome all over the city, are handled by a partner organization in the city. We do a lot of the art in public parks, for example.
Okay.
And then there's some other folks who are doing their own projects, like murals all over the city.
Oh my gosh!
Drive around
on
city,
the east side.
Yeah, totally.
Seriously,
Ito's
like
just got
on
so
the
much going
east side of
Yeah.
Houston. I mean, all of the graffiti murals and just the buildings with the graffiti art. I mean, it'll be a model's dream. I want to go over there and shoot like I'm not a model, but I want to go over there and shoot like a bunch of pictures because there's so much dope art in Houston. I mean, Houston is its own freaking planet, if you ask me. I mean, this is my fifth market working in radio. Like, it has its own culture.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's got tons of people making art, being creative. I mean, it's a really remarkable place. I just moved from D.C.
Okay.
And to look at what Houston has to offer, whether it's food, culture, community, it's remarkable.
That was the first thing I noticed here was the food. That was the first thing I noticed. Like, man, all these different restaurants. Houston must be pretty diverse. And then as I opened my eyes, I started to see like, whoa, there's a lot of different nationality, ethnicities. Everything is here in Houston. I mean, I just saw last week that we have officially surpassed New York City as the most diverse city in the country.
And we're thriving. What's amazing about Houston is you got all these different communities. They're all doing their own thing. They're all thriving, and we get to be a part of all of it. It's awesome.
I know. It's great. I can talk to you guys forever. Listen, I've been way past my time. Thank you, John and Deidre from the Houston Arts Alliance. The website, HoustonArtsAlliance.com or
That's right.
Yes.
No, HoustonArtsAlliance.com. Get all of the information there. Thank you for everything that you're doing for arts and education.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on.
And thank you for listening to Access Houston.
We'll be back with more Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.